Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Performing and Visual Arts, SOPVA. Certificate, Postgraduate Certificate Programs, Certificate in Performing Arts, Karnataka Music, CPAKM. OMU-005 Introduction to Karnataka Music. Block-1 Understanding Karnatak Music. Unit-1 Brief History and Evolution of Indian Music. 1.1 Introduction. Today everyone in our country knows that there are two distinct types of music which are popular. One is the Hindustani and the other is Karnatak, more popularly called the South Indian music. Many a times, if you are from the north of India, you would fail to understand or appreciate Karnatak music. The southerners are slightly better off since they are well acquainted with the Hindi film music, at least from the golden era of 1950s to 1980s when the base was definitely classical. And then a versatile singer like Lata Mangeshkar, fondly called the Nightingale of India, has transcended the geographical and linguistic barriers and has truly united the entire country musically. These two mainstreams are what we call the classical streams. There are also a large number of folk idioms pertaining to the different areas of this vast country. Another unifying factor is the different dance styles which have now gone outside their birthplaces and have traveled all over the country and the world. Bharatnatyam, though from Tamil Nadu, has truly become a national dance. In almost all the corners of India one can find Bharatnatyam institutes and performances. Similarly now Kathak is being highly appreciated in the southern states. Bharatnatyam is based entirely on the classical Karnatak music and Kathak on Hindustani. In our tradition dance cannot be even thought of without music. In fact the confluence of music and dance, irrevocably tied together by the tala etched out by the drum, creates an almost divine atmosphere. Thus, in order to experience this exquisite confluence, it is desirable to understand the music as a whole of our country. The same cannot be said about drama which, since it relies entirely on the spoken word, remains regional in its outreach. Now did you know that for a long while, there was only one musical system in our country? As is with any art flourishing in a dynamic society, music has also undergone many changes due to development. With the coming of the Muslims to our country, we came under the influence of the cultural trends that they brought with them. Of a special mention is the Persian influence on our music. It is this influence that gave rise to the Hindustani music while the Carnatic music remained more or less untouched since the Muslim invasion did not reach the south as forcefully as in the north. Yet both the systems have similarities due to the common origins that they share. As students of art, it is essential that you learn to appreciate and understand Indian music, which is our greatest inheritance. Enjoyment of music is the birthright of every human being. Why lose that right just because you feel alienated from a particular system since intricacies have not been brought to your notice? Let us demystify Indian music as a whole and delve deep into that ocean of exquisite beauty. 1.2 Objectives. After studying this unit you should be able to realize that essentially and basically there is only one music in our country. Understand the basics of both the Karnatak and Hindustani styles, and appreciate the tremendous importance of music in our lives. 1.3 A brief history of the evolution of music in India. From the dawn of human history, man realized that he was dependent upon a superhuman power and established his relationship with God. In order to define his attitude towards the superior power, he chose the medium of music. He firmly believed that the intoned word called mantra was more effective than plain spoken words. The presentation of intoned words can be considered as the beginning of vocal music. The earliest chanting was the Rigvedic hymns, 3000 BC to 1500 BC. The scientific art form of music of today took its birth in the Vedic period only. The Literary and music tradition starts from this period. Hindu tradition says that the text of the four Vedas, namely Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharva, were imparted to the sages by God Brahma, the creator of the universe, in the form of spoken words and have been handed down from generation to generation in oral tradition. The Vedic scholars enjoyed reciting spiritual verses of the Vedas in groups, which required a disciplined way of chanting. The sacred sound, Om, was considered as the basic note of music. The Sama Veda was mainly connected with Soma sacrifices and Somayaga. The verses of the Sama Veda served the purpose of musical notes. The musical notes emerged from the accents employed to sing the hymns. The Saman Saptaka was in the ascending order. This primordial scale is the starting point of the evolution of the musical scales. In fact, the transition from chanting to singing was a slow process. The intervals of the Saman notes were tuned to suit singing. The beginning of Indian musicography is traced to Vedic chants, which used certain symbols to note the rise and fall of the voice during the chant. Measuring the rhythm with finger counts in Indian music and Western staff notation must have originated from Sama Asta.li. Is surprising to note that it was only in the 10th century AD that the musical hand was used by Guido di Arezzo for the first time in the West. The origin of musical composition is traced to the Sama Vedic chant. The syllables, which did not carry any meaning, called stobha, must have given the idea of vowel extensions in songs, rhythmic syllables. The idea of improvisation and elaboration of a particular phrase of music must have come from the Sama Veda itself. The emergence of the Solfa terms is said to be that Sa and Ma are taken from Sama Veda, Ri, Ga from Rig Veda, Pa, Ni, Dha from Upanishads. The concept of Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Dha, Ni as the Solfa syllables is considered as an important and major turning point in the history of music in the post-Vedic period, and these Sapta Swara are mentioned in the Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad. These syllables made the music writing an easy task with the use of symbols. The Solfa names with vowel changes are found in the 7th century Kudamiya Malay inscription. The European Solfa syllables do, Ri, Mi, Fa, So, La, T were introduced only in the 10th century by Guido di Arezzo. By the time of Shankaracharya in the 8th century AD, the Saptaswara were popular, and Shankaracharya himself has written in his Shyamala Navratan Shloka as Sarigmabdha Niratam Tam Vinasankranta Hastam. Another important reference is found in the 16th century work Kala Panude of Pingali Surana. The creative music called Manodharma Sangita was possible because of the emergence of 7 Solfa syllables. This scientific, melodic development is of great importance in the growth of the art of music. 1.4 SHIKSHAALITERATURE. The Shiksha literature plays an important role in defining the highly developed form of music. The most important Shikshas are the Nardi Shiksha, Panini Shiksha, and the Yagnavalkya Shiksha, which provide abundant information regarding the origin of Swara, Vedic Swara, Swara of Laukika Gana, the secular music. The Aranyakas and Upanishads practiced meditation on the Vina. The human body, created by God, was called as Deva Vina, and the man-made Vina was called as Manushi Vina. 1.5 PURAANICPERIOD. Next appears the Puranic period, where music became both devotional and secular in character. A distinctive improvement upon the Vedic music was evident. The Puranas were supposed to have been composed by the age Vyasa. Almost all the Mahapuranas and Upapuranas contain plenty of material and references to the arts of music and dance. The most important Puranas is the Vayu Purana, since it deals with technical aspects of music like gramas, marchanas, tanas, alankaras, varnas etc. 1.6 Epoch period. The next important period falls under the epic age. The great epic Ramayana of Sage Valmiki in Sanskrit language is a poem set to music which is the oldest next to Sama Veda. The art and the science of music had attained high standard during this period. The fact that Lava and Kusha, sons of King Rama, sang together in unison proves verses were set to particular melodies and rhythmic patterns. The musical composition was called by the name Giti. Music and dancing enjoyed a prominent place in the life of common people. Unit-1 Mickey had a definite idea of aesthetic appeal of musical compositions. A composition was expected to sound pleasant and sweet, whether it was recited or sung, capable of arousing the recognized sentiments. At least one or two out of the rasas, and should be sung in 3 speeds along with the accompaniment of a stringed instrument. 1.7 Contributions OFBHARATAAND Matanga. Indian music has had a continuous development from the dawn of history in the spheres of practice and science. The art of music never remained static, especially the classical form always welcomed new theories, new concepts, and new methods of practice, but only within the prescribed framework and never crossed the boundary line. Indian music even accommodated the foreign traits which were imbibed in the system without disturbing the basic indigenous features. The development passed through several stages during its long history. The contribution of the practitioners and theoreticians is of great value. The ancient theoreticians were experts not only in the theoretical aspects but also in practical aspects in addition to the twin arts of music and dance. The ancient literary works on Natya treated dance as the main subject and a marginal treatment was allotted to music. In the medieval works, the Natya was treated as the combination of Gita music vocal, Vadya instrumental music Nritya dance. The modern literature gave prominence to Gita music and devoted only few chapters to dance. History of music can be studied under the categories of chronological survey of different periods, development in those particular periods in all aspects, study of the Lakshani Granthas which provide the theoretical aspects, analyzing the musical compositions, composers' contribution, and the contribution of the teachers and their disciples. The ancient comprises prehistoric period down to the period of Matanga, the author of the Sanskrit work named Brihad-deshi. This period witnessed the invaluable contribution of Bharat Muni, who authored the great treatise Natyashastra in Sanskrit, which has made him the first and foremost on dramaturgy. Actually, there is no knowledge, no craft, no technique, no activity which is not found in the Natya Shastra. Many treatises have been inspired and influenced by the Natya Shastra over the centuries. Bharat's music was associated with theatrical performance. Melodies were derived from the modes jatis which have been derived from the heptatonic progressions named murchanas. By this time the concept of Vadi, Samvadi, Vivadi and Anuvadi became clear. Vadi is the dominant note in a musical phrase or a melody. Vadi note is compared to a king in the melody. Samvadi is a note having harmonious relationship with the note Vadi or the tonic note. Vivadi is a dissonant note which creates a discordant effect, an enemy of the melody. Anuvadi is an assonant note subordinate in nature, like a servant. Bharat explained the relationship of swara and jatis. He also explained the rasas, sentiments, amounting from the sapta swaras as well as jatis. He gives a detailed account of Arohi, Avarohi, Sthai and Sanchari. Arohi is the ascending of phrase of notes, Avarohi is the descending way of notes, Sthai is the repetition of the same note, Sanchari is the combination of notes from different ranges. 1.8 Matangas Brihadasam Brief History and Evolution to Indian Music. In the ancient hist-ry of Indian music, Bharat Muni's Natyashastra and Matanga's Brihad-deshi are the two important works. In the post-Bharat period, The concept of raga developed steadily and reached perfection in the hands of Matanga, the first musicologist who defined the classification of ragas into Shuddha, Chayalaga and Sankirna was Matanga. The style of the Sanskrit language and the contents reveal that the work belonged to the 9th century AD. Brihaddeshi is considered to be the successor of Natyashastra. Matanga defines his work as a treatise on sound nada. He says that the nada is the most important aspect of music. There is no song, no swara, no dance without nada. He discusses swara in details. He defines swara, that sound which is pleasing to the ear, and states that swara descend from the gods. Matanga followed Bharat as his guide to present his Brihaddeshi, which has become a favorite treatise referred to by musicians, music lovers and critics. It is only in The Brihaddeshi that the term, raga, is found for the first time, and the aesthetic treatment of a raga is discussed in detail. This work is also important because it deals solely with the theory of music. Some of the ragas of Matanga are found in the Shilappadikaram also. The art of singing ragas had developed very well and Matanga had given the guidelines to be followed while elaborating the raga, i.e. Raga Alapa. He has mentioned the Saptagitis of styles of singing songs. He has used the term Gamaka while describing ragas and jatis. 1.9 ANCIENTTAMILMUSIC. Just as the Natyashastra is the earliest Sanskrit work available which provides the earliest authentic reference to Indian music, in South India, the earliest reference to music with its technical aspects is found in the ancient Tamil literature. The term used to denote music was isi in Tamil. References are abundant to music both in literary and musical works generally described as Sangam literature. The Sangam age, 500 BC to 900 AD, produced many works which throw light on the art and science of music. The most important anthologies of this period are 8 in number, namely Ettatogai, Pattapattu, Purananuru, Kalitogai, Paripadal, Ahananuru etc. Tokappiyam belonging to the pre-Christian era is an authoritative work on ancient Tamil grammar. It is the most ancient Tamil literary work which talked about ancient Tamil music system. The country was divided into 4 divisions and each division had its own music, drums, gods, habits. People very fondly used singing and drumming to please the gods. The pans and harps were named after the regions in which they originated. It is amazing to note that the early Greeks also had the same system in their music. The Tamil language itself has iyal, poetry, sai, music and natakam, drama. Place was fixed to conduct music. It was called panai and a musician was called panner and porana. The sapta swara sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni were called kural, tatam, kaikali, uzai, ili, vilai, taram respectively. 1.10 Music in the Tamil APICSHILAPPADIKARAM. The most important literary Tamil work where abundant information on music is found is the illustrious epic Shilappadikaram. This work was penned by Alango Adigal, the brother of Senguttuvan, who was the great Chera king and reigned during the 2nd century AD. Even though it is a dramatic work, it has given more importance to explaining the technique of music. A clear picture is drawn of the culture, traditions, social customs, rituals and religious practices of the people, the care taken by the kings for the welfare of their subjects, and the royal patronage extended to the artist community. Shilappadikaram is considered as an epic. Muttamizakkapiyam, since it is a great work having a combination of iyal, isi, and natakam. This work has 10 cantos. Out of this, 6 chapters have been dedicated to the art and science of music. Plenty of information is available for the music practitioners and theoreticians. Some compositions like Kummi, Amanai, Enjal Part 2, Kapalpektu etc. have been described in a picturesque manner. Clango, a gifted author, has depicted the political and the cultural setup of the three South Indian kingdoms of his time: Chera, Chola, and Pandya. Shilappadikaram means an epic of the anklet. This classical literary work has treated the favorite theme of music through poetry, lyrics and drama. It is a highly emotional work. It appears that Alango followed Bharat's Natyashastra and presented the contents in such a way that it fitted into the cultural mold of the Tanals. A dance teacher was an expert in 11 types of dances, several melodies, and rhythms. The music teacher was a good singer with a sweet voice, an expert who played on the musical instruments like yaj, benu, sengatu yaj etc. and presented 7 palais or marchanas through modkal shift of tonic. The epic furnishes several varieties of percussion instruments. The drum playing was indispensable for all occasions such as expeditions, sacrifices, marriages, birthday festivals, funerals etc. The 3 great instruments of the Tanals were yaj, kujal, and maddalam. There were 4 types of musical instruments, namely tolkaravu, percussion, narambukkaravi, string, kanchakkuruvi, metallic, tulikaravi, wind, human voice was called miderukarvi. The 7 swara were called kural, tatam, kaikilai, uzai, ili, vilari and taram. The general name for a melody was pan. Pan was the name assigned to raga in ancient Tanal music, in fact in Indian music itself. Pan was compared to the delicious taste of honey. Just as bees collect honey from the flowers of the mountain and valley regions, in the same way a singer selects the notes and arranges them in a proper combination in a beautiful manner to form a pan. In the history of South Indian music literature, Shilappadikaram stands out as a precious gem of artistic work. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.